Hi, this is Robert Polinick, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. In this video, I want to do a quick kind of description of something I've seen recently. One of my clients had been practicing their bench press on a bench, but they were laying a mat, like an exercise mat down, and they said that that helped them from kind of sliding on the bench, and I recommended that they get rid of that they actually not do that. And part of the reasoning is the extra thickness that the mat provides allows for a compression of their shoulder blades into that material. And when it compresses into the material, it almost like hugs the shoulder blades in place. This is going to allow them to feel tighter in their upper back, which then allows them to express more strength in their bench. The problem is this client actually competes in powerlifting, and therefore when they would go to a meet, they would not have the option of having that mat on the bench, and they wouldn't be able to perform in the same way that they've been practicing. So if they've been practicing with extra compression, when they go to a meet competition and there is no extra compression, that back tightness that they thought they had, which was hidden by the compression, won't be there, and their strength production would go down. So to kind of prove this to themselves, they then did their next bench workout without that mat, and their bench max in training actually went down 10 pounds. So they actually lost 10 pounds worth of strength by simply kind of eliminating that mat. This is something that's very important to consider is if you're a powerlifting athlete, that whatever you use in training should help you mitigate like aches and pains on joints, get rid of some small kind of like injury issues, safety issues. But if it aids in your performance and you wouldn't actually be able to use that in a meet, you probably shouldn't use that in your training. An example real quick is I have here my wrist wraps that you would typically wrap like around your wrist, and then when you bench press, it holds your wrist in place, and that way it's more stable and it doesn't kind of bend like this. So that does help performance. It does help with safety in terms of your wrist, but you're allowed to use these in the competition. So that's an example of something that we would want to practice with because we're allowed to use them. For example, if you use knee wraps in powerlifting, you can use those in the training. You definitely want to get used to using those. If you just use sleeves and you're not allowed wraps, then just use the sleeves. So you can use what you're allowed to use in competition. But if you're using something that's not allowed in competition, but does actually give you extra strength, you want to be careful about that. So there are some times that you would do planned overloads, such as reverse band bench pressing. So if we take a second here and come with a tour with me, this is a bench press my dad and I actually made, and it has bars up here that you can hang bands that go down to the barbell. And you can do overload bench pressing, so reverse band bench pressing. That helps you get a feel of heavier weights. It gets more stress into the muscles, and that can actually help you in the long run produce more muscle mass, produce more strength. But then you take the bands off and you get used to what it's like to do the normal way before competition. If anything you're using gives you artificial strength, you can use it in planned times, planned sequences, but then make sure you get rid of that and practice the way it's supposed to be before you do a competition. Okay? Now, one tip I'm going to add to this video is how to create back tightness without having a mat, or if you're struggling with that concept. So if we think of our shoulder blades, if they were on the back side of my body, when we bench press, we want our shoulder blades to be together and down. And what that does, it takes our shoulders back and down, and it gives me a nice strong base to press from. My shoulders are nice and stable, therefore the muscles of my chest can contract with my upper arm, nice and stable. My triceps can be nice and stable, everything's nice and stable. Too often when people think of getting their shoulder blades tight, they think of kind of twisting their shoulder blades. So their arms do this, and then they bench kind of in a weird pterodactyl. Okay? So instead of thinking of rotating your shoulder blades down and in, okay, a twist, think of just pulling them down and in, like this. So if you notice, I can squeeze my back, and you can see me arch a little bit, but I'm not twisting to create it. I just want to take the shoulder blades and squeeze them down and in, not rotate them down and in. So just a squeeze, and then I can still maintain a good 45 degree to 60 degree angle of my upper arm. Okay? So if you're using anything artificial, make sure it's in short bursts. Make sure you know that you have to get back to the regular way of doing it. And if you're struggling to create back tightness, think of pulling your shoulder blades down and in, not rotating. So there's just some food for thought. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching, and good luck.